convergence of these various technologies and solutions. So this is the introduction that I wanted to give you. It has taken a little bit more than I have planned. Let me quickly go through some of these use cases that I wanted to talk about. So let me start with banking and financial services, a sector which all of us are familiar with, and let's see what's the kind of role that big data can play, especially given the transformational themes that I talked about. So I'm on to my slide which talks about new realities for banks. So I'll wait for some time for this to come up on your screens. Yes, I think you can all see it now. So I'm talking about new realities for banks. So there are two different dimensions or aspects that I'm talking about here. Is one, we all know that the banks have entered into what one may call as the brave new world, where they're expected to know each and every customer and each and every customer's needs and moods and aspirations and plans and things like this. And also the concern of these banks to ensure that these customers get the digitally satisfying experience. So ensure that there is a digital platform which provides its customers a completely satisfying experience from a technology point of view. And which also means that the banks have to understand the life stage needs of the customers, whether he's a young person looking for a credit card or he's an old person looking for a retirement pension benefit plan and things like this. And therefore the concern for the banks today is that, am I leveraging technology enough to ensure that we can offer the right products at the right time? If necessary, configure a product quickly and give it to our customers. So that's on one side is the kind of questions which are very technology specific, which are very innovation centered kind of questions that banks are facing. But if you look at the other side, so it's more of back to basics. Banks know that the basis of their business is to ensure that a lot of information is kept confidential, trust and confidentiality is important, and money has to be managed well. So therefore risk management should be an integrated part of your culture, and it should not be an afterthought, and customer is the core of the business. So we don't want to push customers into taking new products or new services if it doesn't give them great financial benefits. So banks have to somehow balance these two things. One is which is very innovation centric, and the other one which is very stability and risk management and governance centric. So this is one challenge that we see for banks today, and these challenges have to be addressed through proper information and data management. So that's a given. And that's where big data, in our opinion, is playing a big role. To have a deeper look at that, I'm moving on to my next slide, which is showing, so what are the constraints today that banks have? I think this slide is now up on your screens. So we're talking about the need for banks to go and meet the customers where they work and play. And so this is something that's very important. So today, if you look at some of the problems that banks are facing, one will be the constraints in collaborating with all the stakeholders, with your customers and the employees, and bringing them to a common platform. So there are constraints in that. And then there is an inability to introduce new products quickly, because there are a lot of regulatory requirements, a lot of compliance requirements, there are a lot of gaps in understanding what customers need, and therefore the new product introduction takes time. And the third is, of course, lack of a holistic view, what one calls a 360-degree view of customers. So if you look at all these problems, these are all problems for some trained eyes. They look purely as information or data management problems. So which is what big data, many banks are today using big data to address these problems of having a 360-degree view of the customer, to ensure that new product introduction happens in near real time, and also to ensure that there is a digital platform which will minimize the constraints of collaboration. So the next question, natural question therefore is to